I cry if I have to. I scream if I have to. And sometimes when I'm talking to God, I don't like go off on God, of course not.
Hey, you guys, you already know what time it is. This is Shelly with Go and Go Podcast, and I have here.
Cutting Kib, you already know who it is.
You already know. We finna cook it up, you guys. So I just want to thank you guys for watching another episode from us. And I just want to tell y'all I love y'all. And I just want y'all continuous support. And what we're going to get in today, do you want to bring in the topic or...
Yeah, we had a little bit of alliteration, kind of talked about some C's that were kind of going on in our lives. So one of the first topics we were talking about was the challenges. What are some of the challenges that we go through? But more importantly, what are some of the challenges that we grow through? So what are some of the challenges that you feel like you're growing through right now?
That I'm growing through? The challenges that I feel like I'm growing through is basically not reverting to old things that I may have once did. Like, I feel like sometimes you grow so much and then sometimes you realize you still need work in some areas because something happens out of the ordinary on your journey of growing, and then you realize, like, okay, that's where I need a little work. And I feel like it's my response to disrespect. I feel like my response to disrespect, a lot of times it could be so well, but depending on the person, it might sway a little bit. And I feel like that's what I'm learning to grow through. Yeah.
So is it like it's a person thing that could trigger something that's like a mild response to like something that's over the top?
Yeah. And I wouldn't even say too much over the top. I would just say in a way that I felt like you know how you feel like you've been growing so much to the point where you like, dang, like, and this gonna hit on something else we've gonna talk about. Like, it's like, dang, so you start putting it on yourself, like, I shouldn't have answered like that. I shouldn't have said it like that, basically. And I feel like that is my thing that I go through in my head. It's like, I said a little more than I should have said or that I would have said in this growth if it was someone else.
Right.
And now I know that I need to change that because that means you have some type of control over me.
Right.
And that has to exit the building. And so I feel like that's really what it is. It could be a specific person that can trigger more of a response. It's still not going to be the old me, but it's less of the new me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I think that's key. Because even some of the things that like I feel like I'm growing through, it's just like really competing with my old self, you know? So it's just like a lot of people try to hold me accountable to who I used to be, but I know I'm not there anymore. I know I don't do those things anymore. And it's just like, I know we used to do this, but it's just like, as a result of you knowing the new me and getting to see who I am, it's just like, I think to learn me or to know me is to continue to like allow me to reintroduce myself. And I think that's where I find true friends wouldn't pressure me into doing some of the things that I don't want to do anymore.
Exactly.
But having a conversation. So it's just like, if it's going out of the country or going out of town, it's just like the turn up is a little bit different for me. So I'm just trying to figure out like a good balance as I'm getting deeper into my word, as I'm getting more into my faith walk, like what does turn up look like? And, you know, I think I'm just going with the experiences and growing through it. And I think one of the biggest things is not to shy away from where God is calling me to be.
Exactly.
And I find that you just got to go through the process. You got to grow through the process. And to be able to do that is just to experience it.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to knock your head. Not for real. Like, sometimes they got to knock you on your head for you to be like, okay, like, I went through it. Now I can grow from that experience versus I went through it. Now I'm going to do it again. Or I'm going to stay stagnant in the situation. No, it's like, now that I've gone through it, what can I do that can make it a better situation? Now, it may not the next time, and I find people beat themselves up if the next time is not exactly how they want it. But it's like, if the next time there is growth, you're going in the right direction.
Right.
And I feel like I've been trying to help myself with looking at it like that. Like, if you are growing in your response to whatever triggers you, then you're getting somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
I feel like certain people can bring up challenges because it's like, dang, like, I can't be who I used to be, and
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be who I used to be. So either you gotta go, or we gotta figure out how this is gonna work with who I became,
Yeah.
and that is, it's very challenging.
That is, it is. And it don't have to be. And I think about it, and to like one of the Bible studies that we're gonna do, it's just like a lot of where we feel, which is our second topic, is like the conviction, like being convicted. And for people that don't know what conviction is basically to feel guilty or feel like it's on you, that you're feeling the way that you're feeling, like a lot of guilt. And there's a lot of that build up, the blame. So I find that conviction oftentimes isn't like really delivered from God. It's like our accountability, like we know we're supposed to do the right thing or what we were supposed to do, but we kind of hold ourselves to a certain standard of like, well, this is what I've been doing, or this is how I used to act, or this is the streak that I've been on. And if we break it or if we fall off, it's just like, and it's like God isn't like, like slapping us over the head. But it's oftentimes that we're like competing with ourselves.
Yeah, it's you versus you. Like, I feel like God doesn't convict us, we convict ourselves. And that goes back to like basically thinking that you have to live in a performance base, like you have to do something for God to love you or to accept you. God loves you once you gave your life to Christ. He loves you unconditionally. So it's like, just because he already knew you weren't going to keep them 10 commandments. He already knew you was going to make errors. He knew all of that before you did it. So it's like you're convicting yourself from something that God has already forgiven when you thought of it.
True.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's just like us finding that balance to realize that you will be your biggest demise, not a person, not a devil, not nothing. It will be you. Because when you look in the mirror, it's you versus you. And it's the flesh. So if you allow the flesh to win, the flesh will start to take over. And the flesh is what becomes poisonous. That's what we become that sour apple, okay? So it's like you're convicting yourself, but it's just like instead of convicting ourselves, we can just learn, like this podcast is called, Go and Grow. Like you're always supposed to grow from whatever it is that you went through. So it's like, instead of saying, oh, I can't believe I should have done better. And that's why it's important to know what people you have around you as well. Because in your time of conviction, you can have a person around you be like, no, like, just like speak life into you. Like, you'll do better next time. Like, pray for you, pray about you. You know what I'm saying? Instead of a person convicting you. And I feel like sometimes people feel it's weird to be a really, really like good person and not convicting them for the things that they've done wrong because it doesn't look like something they're used to. But it's like when you follow Christ, convicting people don't even feel good to you anymore. The more you start getting deep in, when you start convicting people, because it's like, yeah, you may have did something I don't like, but I do things that I don't like. I do things to people that they don't like. So it's like, am I going to convict myself every time I do something I don't like, or am I going to convict somebody else every time they do something I don't like?
And it's like that holier than thou moment. It's just like, I'm not holier than thou, and I'm not here to convict. Now, I do believe that there's like a certain type of accountability that comes with the walk. And just like going about doing certain things. And it's a conversation that needs to happen as well. So I definitely appreciate my friends being able to hold me accountable to, if they know the walk that I'm on, not to put me in situations that would set me up for failure.
Exactly.
I
definitely, accountability is probably going to be that's key in friendships, because when you don't hold anybody you're around to anything, it's like, what is the end goal? Like, what are you trying to achieve? Because if I'm not lifting you up and you're not lifting me up, then what are we doing? Why are we even friends? Because you gotta hold people accountable. Accountability a lot of times makes people uncomfortable. But it's like, if I don't do it, the uncomfortability won't push you to where you need to go. But if you're comfortable and stagnant, you're gonna stay there. But if I push you because of what you said your dreams and goals was, what you said your walk was, then it should be all love. You know?
And you got to be careful of your words. Your words are so powerful. Like, we talk about it all the time. Like, God created the heavens and the earth. Like, he spoke those things. So we have to be careful of the things that we speak, because the power of life and death is in the power of the tongue. So when we think about that, it's just like, I don't want to hang around people that crack jokes, because those jokes, like, the subconscious knows no joking manner.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's just like, when I think about that, I just want my people to speak life over me, even if they cracking jokes, like, in front of me or behind my back. I'd rather you just pray for me, or like speak life in front of me or behind my back.
Exactly.
Like I'm at that point where it's like, it's serious.
Yeah.
It's serious. So it's just like, I'm always asking for protection. I'm always asking for guidance, and then that discernment as well.
Yeah.
So like, figuring out what that looks like for myself, and not only for myself, but you can be blessed by the company that you keep. So I'm just really big on like making sure that I have the right company. And Apostle Brian Meadows was actually talking about like the friends, when someone enters or exits your life, that's a different season. Like, God often introduces or like removes certain things out of your life through the relationships that you keep. And I thought that was super powerful, because like, when you talk about your day ones and like what y'all used to do, and then maybe kind of going more firm into your faith, it's just like your day ones may not be on that same journey that you're on. So you have to go ahead and figure out if it is a time to let them go, where they just serving you in the season. But the times that you really keep a lot of people around is normally from complacency or comfortability.
Exactly.
And it's just like, well, God is calling us to be higher. God is calling us to do more. And a lot of people can't go on this journey.
Exactly.
So.
And even just like, I feel like like I was talking to you earlier, like, you got to do a background check on people. And it's not saying like background check like a job, but in similar qualities, like, you have to see like, what was your upbringing? Because that matters. With some people, traumas is connected to their upbringings. And so it's like, where are you from? Like, how do you speak with your friends or the people that you love? How do you speak on a daily basis? How do you interact with people? How do you respond to things that make you uncomfortable or things that upset you? And like Prophet Lowy, he was talking about like, the people that enter into your life and the people that you say things to and share stuff with is very important, because everyone who has a connection to God has some forth of like speaking that they can say, and it can be utilized because now you gave that to them. Now you've opened that to them, which is why those premature dreams and those premature things that you have going on, if you're telling people early on, they can sway you from it. Even when he was saying like their look at you can make you even think something different, which is so true. And it was basically saying that some people have an evil eye and they don't even know they have an evil eye. So it's like those haters, those people who find, like he said, find a little clip, and from that little clip they go use it to talk about you to everybody else, when they have no recollection of who you are. They don't have any conversation with you. They've never met you in person. They've never met you to see who you were. It's either from someone else, which is gossip, or it was because of something they saw that they perceived in the way they wanted to. And they took it and ran with it. And I feel like a lot of people are, and this will go connected to our third topic, and that is commitment. I think a lot of people aren't committed to their journey to grow closer to Christ. I feel like you have to be committed. So even when it looks ugly, even when it sucks, like even when you in the trenches, like, God, help me, you know what I'm saying? You still have to be steadfast. Like you still have to know that your focal point is God. And it's like, no matter what I do, God has to be the center. I could be, when everything happened after my accident, one thing I told myself was, if you lost everything today, would you still believe in God? And I had to seriously look at myself and ask myself that. And I had to think hard. And I'm like, because what else is there for me to do on this earth besides believe in God and trust God? So it's like, if you are not committed to your walk, anything can take you on a limbo. Anything can throw you off. Anything can have you jumbled up. But if you commit yourself to getting that love from God, to getting, and when I say growing that love, God already loves you unconditionally, but you learning to do the same. Like you learning to have that connection with God, no matter what comes, that it doesn't sway your judgment towards God, or it doesn't sway the view you have. Like, you know how, for instance, like my Prophet was talking about this too. He was saying that some people like will talk about you on social media, right? From a little clip. Then you'll have some people that believe what they hear, even if people that connected to you, that knows who you are. what they hear can make them disconnect. Just like somebody can hear about their pastor they loved for all these years. One segment of 30 seconds can make them stop going to that church. So it's like, can one thing somebody say make your commitment to God change?
Yeah.
And if it is,
That's
you're not
dangerous.
committed.
That's dangerous.
Exactly.
That's dangerous.
And that's even when it comes to friendships. And that's why it's important. Could somebody tell me one thing about my friend that I don't know if it's true or not? And even if, this is the thing, the devil, that flesh creeps. Forget the devil, the flesh creeps. So it's like, it's creeping up on the person. So yes, somebody may have said something about something that is connected to you, but not in the way that it was sent to you.
Yeah.
And now they've used that. So you think that they really got something, but they're trying to get something out of you because they have nothing.
That's good.
And
That's
they
good.
bring that to you. And now you take it and run with it, and you're no longer their friend.
Yeah.
Versus you could have had a conversation with them. You could have connected. You could have prayed on it. You could have, spoke life into the situation, and you could have decided from there what you do. But to go with what somebody say about somebody who's supposed to be your friend, that means you were never committed to that friendship.
I hear you. And I think you have to first have commitment with God. Like, we talk about these relationships and the friendships, but like, we don't date our friends either. And dating is just to collect data. And it's just like, like you said, we don't really go into the depths of like, well, what are you going through, like, from your past trauma that you feel like you're still going through right now? Like, because a lot of lingering things that they're holding on to, they can be rubbing off on you in a certain atmosphere, in their language and the way that they keep themselves. So we just got to figure out what it is that other people are going through. And it's not any of our business to go ahead and just like really take a deep dive, but you definitely have to ask those intricate questions to really kind of see where people are, so you can know where you're going and who you need to step away from. So I feel that on commitment.
And you guys, we are about to close in a second, and I wanted to tell you guys, hold on. What I did want to say to you guys was, just be careful and be mindful of who you bring around. Be careful and mindful of what you are actually committed to, and don't allow yourself to be convicted from
The challenges.
Yeah. Because you're going to go through them, you know what I'm saying? And you will grow through them.
Yes.
You just have to keep the course. Don't straddle. Like, you know what I'm saying? Don't, you got this, and everything is going to work out in your favor. And I just want y'all to know that here on this platform, we're all for growing. You gotta go forward. It's no back. We ain't going backwards.
Nope.
So we're going forward at all times. And I do want to leave y'all with this. God will always be in your corner, even when you may think that you may not see. You may not feel like it's there. You may feel like, if God is here, how is this happening? God is here. God is your navigation system. God is navigating you through it. And you thought that it was going to kill you. You thought that it was going to take you out. You thought that it was all odds were going to be against you, but God brought you on top. That means that he was already there. And so, trust in everything. Those 3 C's. Don't forget those 3 C's, y'all.
For sure.
It's going to help y'all. And I just want to say I love y'all.
Love you to life. Love you to
so
life.
much. And we just thank y'all so much for tuning in and watching us. And again, this is Go and Grow Podcast with your girl Shelly.
And Cutting Kev.
And we out.
Peace.